Welcome back, everyone. I am the Depressed Eeyore, and this is Dungeonmans. And I have a headache. I'm gonna explain exactly what happened because you're gonna notice I'm not even the same character anymore. I'm not even in the right place. This is what happened. So after the last part, which I believe I was playing Momiji, I was level 3. I was going along. I kind of overextended, went to probably a dungeon that was a little too difficult, ended up getting killed. No big deal, kinda got her killed pretty quickly, kinda sucks. So the next character I made was Irin Yagakuro, a ranger man, which is the character I'm currently playing. So I started clearing out some dungeons, I went to the place that both Momiji died in the same dungeon that Yuki died in. And during that, I looted essentially Yuki's body, and she left behind like a heroic weapon which had like enhanced stats and stuff. What's neat about heroic weapons is they're generally more powerful than their tier, and they can be stored in the vault. So I stored it in the vault, upgraded it, then I tried out a portal that led to fighting 5 champions at once. That's how Momiji died. So I was like, okay, whatever. Now I'm playing a ranger man. I went ahead and did the strategy I've been trying with my other characters, where I go straight south and buy a bunch of tier 3 items, and got Irin all tweaked out with gear. In fact, she's still wearing that gear, it's just been enchanted and stuff. And then I went and got Mobiji's body, ended up getting her heroic weapon, and then I cleared the place out. And then I went to this dungeon, which was a graveyard, which was really cool dungeon, really cool. It starts out outdoors, in the graveyard itself, and like zombies will like sprout out from the ground and stuff. And they're really weak, but they're just constantly coming. And there's a lot of chests and stuff, and then I went to the mausoleum, which is where I'm at right now, and it had about 2 floors worth of it. Actually, I had 3 floors worth of it. And I got a bunch of fancy loot. There's a bunch of tier 3 stuff. I have like my inventory is right now just full of stuff. And then I got to this point, give or take, and then at the floor I'm in right now, I'm fighting things that are around level 11, which were classified as purple to me when I was level 7. I'm level 8 now. Right now the room I'm in is the boss room, and this boss is kind of interesting because if you try to just run away from him, like get out of sight of him and stuff, he'll start just spawning zombies around you. Of course, the zombies are of no threat to me. In fact, they are helpful to me because I can use them to regain HP and stamina. But he's a tough guy. He spawns regular like night skeletons that I have to constantly fight off. He also puts up a shield that protects him, and he's generally pretty tough. In fact, most of the monsters here are super tough. A lot of the champion monsters I've been fighting have had like 800 HP and stuff like that, and they hit like for 200 damage. So I've been just staying away from them and just kiting everything. But what ended up happening, and sorry, this is like I said, this has been crazy, and I really wish I hadn't lost the footage. Well, I deleted the footage because what happened was I beat the boss. This boss that we're about to finish off, I defeated, and I got some awesome loot from him. And then my computer literally just crashed. Like it was frozen and stuttering and just crashed. So I restarted my computer. And when I went and opened up this game, I lost the footage of the boss fight, which sucked. But I was like, okay, whatever, I'll explain that away. When I opened this game, I was Momiji again. At level 3. In other words, at the end of the previous part. And in fact, I was in the same position. And I was like, okay, I just got reverted, which I lost about hours worth of work, and also had a really good ranger man, which apparently I have back now. So this is what, and then I was like, okay, fine. I went through my video clips. I found all the parts that involved Irin, and I was like, okay, I'll just delete them, and I'll delete the death part that involved Momiji. And then I started recording as Momiji again. And then I noticed some weird things. First off, I went to the vault. Because I was like, I couldn't remember where I was anymore because it was several parts ahead that I just reverted back to. I went to the vault and I found two heroic weapons. The problem is the part that the save loaded me in as, I hadn't gotten those items yet, but they're in there. And at that point I kind of stopped recording because I was very confused. And then I went to the graveyard and I found Momiji's grave as Momiji. So there were 4 graves there, and the 4th one being Momiji. And I was staring at it. Yeah, I know, freaky, right? But it gets better. Eventually, I started the recording again. I was like, okay. I also sent some messages on Steam. I was like, okay, this is what my bug is, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, okay. So I started explaining this bug that I'm explaining right now. And I was like, okay. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to test a theory. I went outside, and I started exploring the overworld. And I found out that the overworld was exactly just like how Eren left it. In fact, it had all the sections cleared. All the ones that she is cleared, including the graveyard, because I technically beat the boss there. And then I went into the graveyard to see if I could do it, and it let me enter. And then I died, because I was kind of just exploring the place, and I noticed that it kind of had the chest reclosed, and I went ahead and looted a few. And then I just got killed by 2 skeleton casters, because, you know, level 3 caster versus, you know, level 8 casters. You know, it's pretty short work for Momiji. So Momiji died. I was a little annoyed about it, so I went ahead and just closed the game. Then I restarted the game, and my save was back to here, which isn't completely accurate, but it's at least back to Eren. But I lost all my footage because I deleted it because I thought it was gone. I thought it was useless footage because it was something that never happened, or it kind of did happen until, yeah, there's some bugs in this game, to say the least. I just spent 7 minutes explaining how I went back in time, sort of, or how I made Eren stop existing and went back in time, got Momiji back, and got to have her see her own grave. Yeah. So I'll try to just explain what I can as best as I can. So this is a murdered lieutenant. I've been fighting undead. I have a lot of stuff. I'm practically done with this dungeon. This is the boss room. I have a lot of items I haven't identified yet. Now what was really cool about this dungeon is it had like bookshelves you can look at, and then there were actually those little pools that give you like random stat ups. And if you had dungeon sense and stuff, it'll actually kind of tell you if it's safe to drink or not, which is kind of neat. Beyond that, let's see, I've been getting these mysterious artifacts from the Old Century, which is 3rd tier artifacts. I got some proofs of strengths, and I also have some undead stuff. So, such a vast topic, any pile of bones and old meat can become a mostly active skeleton. But from where do the greater creatures come from? And then part 2, it's quite possible that one of the drawbacks of necromancy is a debt one accrues over time. To be paid back after death, this would explain why the undead necromancers always seem so surely. And yep, so that's where I'm at. I apologize for the sudden jump, and to be honest, it's probably for the best. Momiji died pretty quickly, and then the rest of it was just me running around with just overpowered gear. What I did is I literally bought these like tier 3. You can see they're store-bought. My armor is completely store-bought, and then I enchanted it with like scrolls or whatever. I'm right now using that Garnet Gem Blade, which is a 2-handed weapon. The books I actually started with, one of them gave me ability to use 2-handed weapons. I think another one gave me like, I think one of them actually gave me one of them also gave me some light armor skill. So yeah, I also have tier 2 hats finally, which gives me, I reduce my stamina cost. But yeah, with a 2-handed weapon, I can use 2-handed weapons and still use a bow. The only thing I can't use with a bow is a shield. So I went ahead and I started just using 2-handed weapons to do more damage in melee. In fact, I do more damage in melee. This thing does 4 to 12 plus 21. It's pretty crazy. My rings aren't too special. I do have this +4 strength ring, which is kind of neat. And then some of the stuff I have enchanted just from, you know, putting enchants on it and stuff. I also enchanted these tier 3 gauntlets that give me 22 defeat armor. It also gives me resistance to purple and stuff like that. But my baby here is the store-bought Trigger Hunter bow. It's a +2, and I just been tossing enchants and stuff. I went ahead and gave it. I used a hammer on it to give it toxic, and then I just anytime I get one of those scrolls that gives you like an enhanced weapon or whatever, I just been tossing it on that bow. Sometimes it doesn't work, but when it does, it adds another enchantment on it. So now it does extra fire damage. It does the toxic stuff, which is the poison and strong poison. I get back essentially a hit point per kill now. I get back a stamina per kill now, and I can freeze people in place. So yeah, that's what I have right now as far as gear is concerned. I also have a whole lot of other stuff. I mean, we're at tier 3 stuff now. So we got the Sakana Shiri, not to be confused with the Shiri Sakana. This lance is both elegant and deadly, particularly at a distance. Let's see. Crashonium Pillars, King of Battle. They fear Jiso. Why you left, we'll never know. Aster Ankle Boots, not the same as Aster's Cankle Boots, a hereditary condition. Maximum Arcane Pantaloons, maximum energy flow to increase flume output and decrease regrettable odors. Let's see what else we got. Crusader Mantle, we already know about that one. But yeah, I have a lot of stuff now. You probably noticed because I looted. This place had a lot of stuff. Like every chest had just items spewing out of it. It was pretty awesome. Goldweed Castifiers. The beautiful sapphire is also a convenient gauge for how much you've got left in the old mana tank. And beat down Barboot. The little ridge is perfect for headbutts. Oh, speaking of Goggle Elite Rugby Leathers, the goggles do exactly what you expect. Conquest Knuckles, glistening steel purity for unparalleled beatdown delivery. And we see we got the Garnet Gemblade, a single gem, possibly sharp and crystallized in the boiled blood of the unrepentant. So yeah, I got some pretty neat stuff. Dungeon Missile, tier 3 longbow, deadly accurate with a chip on its shoulder. Yeah, we already. Well, actually, no, we haven't read that one. Ever seeking to pierce greater and greater foes to prove the courage of ranged combat. Vulcan Cleaver, razored edged and simmering with glowing red fury. Flank Bone Crusher, a furious titan that revels in the crinkled mealing of the crumpled and broken. Spiked Red Star, the merciless punctuation that ends the rambling chants of cultists. Parnasol Mole, an advanced design, keeping the sharp end away from the user. There's probably something else. There's some staves I haven't read about. Probably down here. There's the Crusader Hammer. Barricading Baton. This is actually a staff that gives you it's less spell power in exchange for taking less damage. Ornate, classy, and about twice as heavy as it looks. It projects a field of defense magic at the cost of offensive power. I guess that's all of it. Should be I thought I had a blood red thing. Oh well, I'm not gonna drag this any longer. I've already used up half the video. Portal to the overworld. So I've killed the boss. And the items are gone. So I lost the items. So one of the items that dropped, just to kind of one of the items that dropped was a scroll. It was legendary, and now it's gone. But it was legendary, what it did was it could provide it said it can give you like 3 or 4 enchants at the cost of losing 4 strength. Oh, speaking of, the boss that I fought drained strength, which I'm actually down strength because it drained some of it from me. So yeah, we got ice casters, we have necromancers, we got some crazy stuff in this place. You got bone swords, chunky bony melee fighter, can be dangerous if hasted, or is actually made out of a femur. Anyway, the layout of this dungeon, it's very organized, to say the least. But yeah, I'm kind of annoyed, because first of all, it crashed, so I lost all that footage. But not only did I lose that footage, I lost even more footage because it reverted my save. And then I lost even more, just everything. Like, everything's, like, my playthrough's kind of just messed up now. So all I can really do is just drive on from here. Let me go over my skills real quick, because you guys have no idea who this character is. This is Irin Yogakoro, Ranger Man. I got a real armor point from reading a book. I found out you can't mix and match armor. Like, if you have skills in medium armor and real armor, and you put on medium armor and real armor, you can't use either of these skills, because you have to have a full suit of that type in order to actually use the skill. So there is no reason to go multi-class on armor. I did get a point of I did get a book that gave me some introduction to martial exchanges, which gave me 2 painted weapons, which is a really good upgrade to get for an archer, because it gives you a lot more melee strength. I went ahead and ignored skirmish archer entirely, because I really found that these moves aren't very reliable and they don't do enough damage. Same thing for Vitamizer, it's way too expensive for what it's worth. So what I usually use now is Power Drive. I occasionally use Shellbreaker Shot, but I usually stick with Stick and Move and just wail on people. Since my bow can now freeze people in place, that's usually what I've been relying on. Spell-wise, I do have Applied Wizardry, and I also have full Trixometry, so I can Bamf. And then down here, by the way, there's classes down here if you didn't know. In fact, you probably didn't, because you probably lost that footage too. Anyway, they have the Psychomancer, which has like a Diamond Self, which is, you know, you can read it up there. The Psychomancer knows that mind and body are one, and focus are the spark that ignite action and define reality. They shake off wounds through breath alone, and move in ways that appear to defy the laws of the physical world. Telekinesis. A weapon is simply an extension of the body, and when the body and mind are unified, one's reach can be near limitless. So it's some crazy stuff. I'm not going to go too much into it, because I haven't even read all the other classes anyway. But what I did find out is I did find occasionally some books in some of my previous previous parts that are no longer existing, that you can get books on cartography and advanced delving. Cartography is essentially skills that focus on things that happen on the overworld. So you can end up having special events that trigger more often. You can also get the ability to automatically go back to the academy anytime you want. You can also just get a general bonus for fighting out in the overworld. Then the other ones for dungeons. And right now I have one that gives me increased dungeon sense, so I can sense things a lot better. Then there's the next one's increased coin and loot drop rates, and then the final one will actually automatically identify items for you. So, and all these are passive, which is pretty handy. Well, it says they're passive, but one of these is actually something you probably have to activate. But whatever. Anyway, it's been a day. I mean, I will say this character is awesome. I do a lot of damage. My bow is really good, and I just wreck things. Until a certain point, I was literally doing about... my dodge was about 90% at all times. It was pretty awesome. At this point, it's probably not that high, but it's still pretty high. Like, if I look it up right now, I dodge attacks 84% of the time against level 8s. Of course, right now I'm fighting things that are a lot higher than level 8, unfortunately. These are level 9. Coming down into this floor, I was encountered by 2 ghosts that were level 11. And I was level 7 at the time, and they had about 400 HP each. That thing has haste. You know what? I'm just going to take your haste. There we go. I'm just going to take your haste. Thank you. So yeah, I crashed. So what I ended up losing, besides my footage, is I lost the loot from the boss. The boss is dead, because the portal's open. So the boss was kind of like a super necromancer. He was able to summon undead, create undead. He had really powerful ice spells, and he had a shield he can summon. He also drained strength from me, which was probably the biggest thing. Ice casters are kind of annoying. Luckily they don't move until you engage them. They have longer range than me because of their ice spells. So I kind of have to take them. There's also all these different types of ghosts. Ooh, a spooky ghost. Inhabits crypts and attacks of interest. It's mad that it died. Yeah, there's these purple ghosts. They're like level 11. And then I encountered like that one. Stuttering hate ghost. This one is really spooky. It hits hard at melee range. Deals a blend of physical and cold damage. This guy hits for 200. He hit my decoy for 200 at 400 HP, and I encountered 2 of these coming just into the floor. And I encountered a boss version of this which had about 800 HP. So yeah, these things are tough. Just gotta kite him though. Speaking of kiting, let's go ahead and rest up. I'm gonna keep apologizing about just losing everything and failing miserably, because that was a whole lot of fail. I can't get that item. I don't know what this smoke does, so I always try to get out of it. But I am level 8, so what my plan was, at this point, there's a bunch of potions in the walls now, for some reason. But yeah, my plan at this point is, since this dungeon's done, I need to turn in a bunch of stuff, and then I'm going to go to the place that Yomu and Cerno died, and get their bodies. So yeah, what I mentioned before is you can actually find, if you go to the dungeons where people have died, for one thing, when you enter the intro changes, it'll actually say this dungeon houses this boss that slain these people. But if you get to the place where the floor they died in, you can actually find their remains, and their remains will actually give you they'll usually have like a heroic item that you can take back, and you can actually put it in the vault, and it's usually something that's really powerful. I'll probably show them off once I get back to the town. The other thing you usually get is you usually get some experience, and you also get usually an increase in all stats. Alright, hidden behind the case is a interesting treaty on rivers and lakes. Right, oop. Oh, the perks. The perks I'm using on this character is, pull that up. I have the extra AP per round while in exchange of taking more damage from everything, and then I took World Champion instead. So I don't have the reduced cooldowns anymore. Instead, I have the encounter more champions so I can kill them. And since this character's pretty good at killing champions, it worked out for me. I'm gonna be kicking myself for a while. So, just deal with it. I have a lot of gold, by the way, because everything drops a lot of gold now. Also, there's apparently this item that I can't get. Is my inventory full? Did my inventory actually fill up? No. Alright, we're done. I'm just gonna head out of here. For what it's worth. And just call it good. Now it's no longer cleared, and Momiji's body is here. In fact, none of this stuff is clear. You know what? I'm just gonna save. I'm gonna save right now, Saving right now. Okay, no, it did keep track of everything else. This stuff is cleared. You don't. You guys cannot comprehend the stuff. So, what happened to you? Okay, so now this is updated. It now says you died at the first floor of the graveyard, because that's where the second time she died. Here, just have these. Thanks. Here, have that. Have some of that. Have some of that. Have some of that. Here, identify my stuff. Thanks. Alright, I'm just gonna go through the stuff I got. One of these I want. This gives me +2 skill, which is kind of neat. It also gets cold resist, which is actually something I need. So I'm gonna replace that. This thing gives +4 strength, which is nice. Plus mana, Battler's Bangle, Ice Dam Ring. Now this is an interesting ring. Heavy Freezing Cold Loop of Razor Wire. Sure, why not put it on? You recover 1 mana per turn, you ignore 100% of all cold damage, but you take 50% more fire damage. It grants you the power of Frozen Armor and Icy Grave Shard, which are like necromancy abilities. Bunch of those, which I'm not gonna use. These. Bunch of fancy things here. I did get some pretty fancy tier 2 armor from doing a portal that took me to a room that was jammed-packed with monsters. Like every inch of the place was just jam-packed with monsters, and I barely survived. And at the end there were 3 gold chests, and each of them gave you like a really good magic item. Alright. So all that's taken care of. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys the vault. There are 2 in there. The original space was like, what was it, 0 to 2, and now I upgraded its limit, so it's now, it can hold up to 8 items. It can hold legendary, set piece, or heroic gear. So, here is, wow, I can't even remember her name. She died so quickly. Freaking, what's her name? It was my sister, I think. Oh my god, I can't believe I can't remember her name. Freaking, that's gonna bother me. Anyway, but her staff, it's here now. It changed from what it originally was, and it does an additional 10% damage, gives you strength, +1 strength, +4 foom, and additional 10 bonus power. And then the other is Momiji's sword, which she ended up using towards the end before she died. Does an additional 1d6 +2 melee damage on top of its regular damage. Does also 10% more melee damage, and has +2 strength and +2 skill. Both of them are pretty neat. And they're now in my vault, so I can use them whenever. Anyway, let's go ahead and trash all the stuff I have here. So I can now get some Crashonium, which is nice. So yes, melt it all down. Let's go ahead and upgrade our stuff. Just upgrade our weapon first. Okay. I now have books on Undead, for what it's worth. That's about it. Okay, well I now have like 1 million to do. So let's get the spending. Up perfume. So yeah. Alright. So we're... You know what? I'm gonna go to the graveyard again. Just for you guys. And you guys can see this boss again. So yeah, zombies will just spawn out of this place. It's pretty crazy. Alright, and I still have the map. So That's something, I guess. The chests have respawned, and some of them are kind of in the wrong places. But yeah, so these guys just keep coming, as you can probably see. They're not tough. These guys are like level 5. I'm able to one-shot them. Also, this place is actually a way huge. Like, it has all this open area, which there's no point in going to this open area at all. So what I'm going to do is just keep on going. And the outdoor part is actually pretty easy. They're not very strong. Where are the stairs? Are there no stairs? This is where the stairs should have been. And now they're not here. These fences here, you can actually leap over them like this. Anyway, I could try to get Momiji's body, but I'm probably just not going to bother. I was going to, but it looks like that's not really an option. But yeah, I'm just dodging everything because I'm ridiculously powerful. Alright, we're just gonna get out of here. Sure. And I crashed. Awesome. Thank you. I'm just gonna call this a video. I am the Depressed Eeyore, and this was Dungeonmans. See ya.